So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you Lane Mendelsohn, who runs Vantage Point. Hello, Lane. How are you doing?
Hey Bob, good evening. How are you?
Woo! Boy, I tell you what, things are rolling. They're rolling fast, Lane. They're
Oh
rolling
yeah,
really fast.
it's been exciting, hasn't it been?
Oh my golly gosh, absolutely. And I just and I love your product. I love being able to cheat. Excuse me, analyze.
Right.
But it's amazing how I'm able to take what you do and match it up to my research, and it's unbelievable. It's like clockwork. It's so scary. But Lane, listen, the first thing I'd like to do is just give you a quick, have you give a 30 seconds on yourself and your company, and maybe another 30 seconds to a minute, minute and a half, whatever you can afford to us on explaining how AI works and all of the variables it takes to predict properly. So with that said, Lane, could you introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you very much. Well, hey guys, looks like this room is absolutely packed, so I'm excited to be here with you this evening and talking about one of my favorite subjects, which is using artificial intelligence to gain an unfair advantage in the financial markets and specifically in the cryptocurrency markets. As Bob mentioned, my family actually has been involved in the financial markets and specifically using technology to give traders and speculators and investors the upper hand. We all know that when it comes to trading and investing, it's all about the odds. And if you can do things to stack the odds in your favor, that's how you're going to get ahead and that's how you're going to beat the others because it's a zero-sum game. Someone's going to lose and someone's going to win, and you need to put yourself on the winning side. And so, so you were right, actually, Bob. 1979 is when my father started the company, and he just turned 70 last month. And I've been working with him side by side since I was actually 6 years old. And I've just,
Great.
this is my passion. You said talk about it in 30 seconds. I can't say anything in 30 seconds, but here's what I'll tell you. Back in the 1980s, my father was developing trading software. He was the first person in the world to introduce back testing and a way for individuals to test a trading strategy on their computer at the time when most people didn't even have computers. And so my father is in who's who in the world for his invention of back testing for the personal computer. And he's just always been on the cutting edge of technology. Well, he was very, very involved in the financial markets, the stock market, the commodities markets in the 1980s. And in 1987, his software actually gave sell signals prior to the 1987 stock market crash. As you can imagine, he gained a lot of notoriety and a lot of attention because when most people didn't see it coming, he was alerting subscribers, weeks in advance. They were able to protect themselves from that decline and actually profit from it. Right around that time, my father noticed a major shift happening. And now it's commonplace, but in 1987, my father started to realize that the markets and the world was becoming global. In other words, what happened in China, what happened in Europe, what happened in other parts of the world had an impact on the US markets. And so he started to develop this concept called inter-market analysis, where he was actually trying to analyze how other markets can impact a particular currency or a particular stock that he was trading. And so, he started doing the research and he started analyzing the data, and he realized, oh my gosh, there is so much data. How can a human being analyze all of this and make sense of it and then turn that into something that's actionable where he can actually pull the trigger, make a trading decision and be right? And that's what led him to artificial intelligence. And so back in around 1988, 89, my father started working very seriously with AI, artificial intelligence, when almost nobody knew what it was. A lot of people thought he was this crazy mad scientist, and I guess he was at that time. Now everyone looks at him and says, oh my God, this guy was a genius and several decades ahead of his time. But he started using artificial intelligence to analyze patterns in data. In other words, if the US dollar is strong, what's that going to do to the euro? If the euro is weak, what's that going to do to the price of gold? He was analyzing all of these intermarket and global market relationships. And so if you flash forward, now it's been, about 30 years later, we have perfected the art of using data from other markets to predict the market or the stock or the currency that you want to trade. And we've been working for the last several years in the cryptocurrency market. And when a lot of people thought that the cryptocurrency markets are unpredictable or erratic or maybe just fear and greed based, it's not true. The cryptocurrency markets are like any other legitimate currency or stock. They are being driven and impacted by other market forces.
And that's what I wanted to ask you about, Lane. I hate
Yeah.
to cut you off, but
No, please.
when I came out to your headquarters, the
Hmm.
one thing that I could best describe how you do what you do is I call it 6 degrees of separation. It was
Yep.
amazing how you showed me how pork bellies can affect silver, and silver can affect AT&T, and AT&T can affect this bond, and this bond can affect that stock, and all these lines you could aim at one particular stock, and you showed me how you could take one stock and it was like 150 different variables all basically raining down on this one thing. See, that was what shocked me.
Well,
Was
that's the biggest thing. If someone wants to know, if you say, I want to know where the price of Amazon is going to go, where the price of Apple, where the price of Bitcoin, where the price of Ethereum, if you want to know where something's going to go, you have to look at, well, what are the factors that are going to impact it and cause it to move either up or down? That's what we're doing. It's a simple concept, but to actually perform that type of analysis, and you're right, there are literally thousands and thousands of different pieces of data that are being analyzed by our software each night using artificial intelligence to predict where the price of, let's say, Bitcoin is going to go by first taking a step back before it even looks at Bitcoin. It says, what factors impact Bitcoin? And then starts analyzing it. And some of the ones, I showed you when you were here, Bob, but I mean, you look at all of the factors that our artificial intelligence system has identified that impact Bitcoin. Some of them make sense. Others, you look at it and you go, God, I never would have thought that had an impact on Bitcoin. And it's those hidden patterns and those hidden market relationships that really drive these markets. And that's what we've been able to capture. And that's why our customers have been so successful in the stocks and more recently in the cryptocurrency markets.
one of the things that intrigued, and I got that. That's amazing. One of the things that intrigued me was how you really tested a given piece of data. I call it ripening, and you don't really consider it seems something ripe until you have at least 2 years of back knowledge on it. Am I close? That's what I kind of focused on. How close am I to totally understanding it?
Yeah, you're right. See, here's the thing. Because the software is using AI to analyze patterns and data, we have to have enough data for the AI to analyze. So if I show you a little snapshot of the last 3 days, I say, look at the last 3 days, tell me what patterns you see. There may be no discernible patterns. I show you a bigger chunk of time, a year or so. Well, then the AI can look at it and say, oh, I see patterns, I see patterns, I see patterns, and these patterns are repeatable. And they repeat over and over and over. And so by analyzing these patterns and looking at how other markets drive the Bitcoin to do these patterns repeatedly, we're seeing, oh, when this happens and this happens and this happens, Bitcoin goes up. When this happens
Yeah.
and this happens and that happens, Bitcoin goes down. And that's how we're able to forecast. It's not magic. It's using technology. It's using data. It's looking for patterns and mining that data, making it easy for you and I and everyone on the show tonight to see very quickly and easily and crystal clearly what this currency is going to do over the next couple days. And we're able to achieve that with an 86% accuracy rate.
That's an unbelievable rate, and what I've now put up in front of everybody. If you're in the video game world, this would be called a cheat code. I'm once again joking there a little bit, but this is literally a screen on Bitcoin on the AI Vantage Point's AI system. And Lane, could you explain what's being shown here?
Yeah. Yeah, it's real simple, and we work with a lot of people who are newer to the cryptocurrency markets or just newer to trading in the financial markets, but they want to get financial freedom and they want to be able to take some amount of money and make it grow. And we've provided them a way to do that very easily. We've color coded it. I mean, you can't mess it up, right? So here's what you're looking at. Whenever the area is shaded green up above, that's the software's indication and prediction that the trend will continue going up. But when the shading turns from green to red, like it did over in December, that's the software's prediction that the trend is going to start going down. And so you're really just looking for the artificial intelligence mechanism to indicate green or red, indicating up or down. And down below, you'll notice that little band where it goes from green to red. That is another predictive indicator. And if you're like me, I like to be conservative. If I make a trade, I want to make sure it's going to be a darn good trade. So what you do is you use the indicator up above, the green and red shading, to indicate trend direction, and you confirm that with the green and red bar along the bottom to make sure it's in agreement. So if you're thinking about buying, like if you look, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, Vantage Point nailed the bottom here on Bitcoin, said, hey, this thing's going to start going up. And you can see the green shading started a couple of weeks ago. Down below, that indicator also went green. You got a second doctor's opinion, everything is screaming, this thing's going up. And that would have been
So both doctors were saying, do it, have the surgery.
Absolutely. There was no question right there that this thing was not going to go up because you've got two different predictive indicators. They're using all different types of mathematics between the two of them. So when they both start pointing up, it's going to be a blockbuster move. And of course, you can see what it's done. And if you look even
further, can I ask you one real quick, Lane? Now, how far ahead is this? Is it like a day ahead? Is it, I mean, you have to, I guess you have to really look at the trend because you see that you could see, say, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, you see a pretty fat green at the top and, a green light at the bottom. It looks, that it seems that tells me, hey, let's keep on hold, let's add or accumulate.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of what I see here.
Anyway. That's exactly right, and that's the whole thing. Is, I mean, it jumps off the chart for you. We designed it that way. There's a lot going on under the hood, but our customers, they don't want to spend a lot of time. They want to look at this quickly, 5-10 seconds, get the information they need, off to the races. But here's what you'll notice. This is interesting. Back in November, Shirley was forecasting it to go up, called the top almost to the day. And you can see it's been very accurate on these intermediate term trends since then. But here's the thing to notice, and this I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek of what Vantage Point's forecasting right now for Bitcoin. Okay, the indicator down below you can see is turned red, but the indicator up above is still shaded green. So what this means is that the overall trend direction is still predicted to go up, but don't be surprised if there's a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of weakness. And this is where this is going to save you. See, a lot of people, if they see something go up, then it starts going down, they get freaked out. They sell, they don't know what to do, they get confused. This is going to guide you. It's saying the overall trend is up. Don't be caught off guard if there's some weakness. And when there are times of weakness, like you said, Bob, those are great times to accumulate more of that asset.
Interesting. So right now, you got a little bit of a caution light. Maybe it's a little bit yellow. You're saying, oh, hey, just hang, don't do anything. Let's watch a little bit more. Is that pretty much?
That's absolutely. Absolutely. It's giving you it's kind of waving a little cautionary flag in front of you, which helps you to be more conservative and also kind of just keeps you alert, which is important as well.
You want to go down and check out what's happening with what's our next one? We have Bitcoin Cat. Woo!
Here's Ethereum. Yeah. See,
this is Ether right here. Or is it? Okay, good. Okay, great.
So you can see this is the same time frame. We're looking at the last 6 months is what we're looking at here. But I mean, tremendous opportunities to profit on the way up. And then you can see we pretty much called the top there in just after the first of the year. You can see it, and then if you look over to the far right, where the software said, okay, this thing's going to take off. It's going to go on a run again. Nailed it to the day. And you can see where the shading turned green. And then you've got your neural index. That indicator down below, I didn't want to get too technical, but it's called the neural index. It's either green or red, that bar on the bottom. You can see that thing went green at the same time. All systems go. This thing's going to take off.
Well, you know, it's interesting. If you take a look on the very right side with Ethereum, the green shaded area on the top is quite a bit wider than Bitcoin. It
Yep.
looks wider, so maybe you're still accumulating a little bit there, but it looks a little tastier. Am I right?
Yep, yep, that's exactly how you interpret it. It's very simple. Yeah, you're looking, the wider the gap between that blue and that black line, so the wider the green shaded area, the stronger the uptrend is expected to be. So if those lines start to get narrow, like they did on Bitcoin, that's that cautionary sign. And you'll notice that the blue line on Ether here, it had been going up, up, up. But look what it's done here in the last 2 days. It's kind of leveled off.
Yeah, it has.
Again, giving you a little sign of caution there. And of course, you've got your neural index turned red. It's not telling you that it's not going to keep going up. It's just saying don't be surprised if there's some short-term weakness.
Interesting. Now we have one more
Yep,
that we want
let's
to
look at
show.
Litecoin.
Let's look at Litecoin. Now
Yep,
look at now this is really interesting because it looks like it a Litecoin had a nicer jump, kind of a nicer reversal back in just before March than the other currencies. It looks
yeah.
like it had a nicer pop, but yeah, but there you go. So go ahead.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. That's why we have these three specifically in Vantage Point because, a lot of people think that all of the cryptocurrencies are going up or all of them are going down, but they don't realize that these currencies are all independent. And so what's important is that you can look at Vantage Point, you can look at the Bitcoin forecast, you can look at the Ethereum forecast, you can look at Litecoin, and you can pick and choose. It's not all or none. You can say which one looks best right now. If I'm going to go and I'm going to accumulate some more, what should I be accumulating? And sometimes it might be Bitcoin, other times it might be Ethereum or Litecoin. And so you're going to use the information from all three of these charts to determine what's the best decision for me at this point in time.
And
And that,
let me tell you why that's. I don't want to forget this, Lane. This is so
yeah,
important. This is. I have talked in the last few weeks about different exchanges and different tools for buying and selling coins, and I've talked about one which is called GDAX and another which is called Coinbacks. Now I like GDAX. That's GDAX because the first of all, the commission when you sell and buy stuff, it's very, very small. It's really infinitesimal. So I like that because I can sit here and take your platform, and if I want to make a little push into Bitcoin a week and a half ago because my Litecoin numbers are going, yeah, it wasn't looking, because you see you have almost no green at all about 10
mhm,
days ago at the top, and you have a little red. So I was able to go, okay, I want to maybe move a little bit more in the Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash direction, but I was able to do it without getting killed on commissions,
right.
when you do trades. And so it's also important when you have something like this, make sure you're using a tool that's going to allow you to buy and sell and not kill you when you're doing each transaction.
Yep. Yeah, that's an important point. You have to treat this like a business. If you want your business to grow, you want it to be successful, and you want it to be consistently successful, you got to have the right tools and you have to have the right resources. So some of those resources that you're mentioning, Bob, that gives people the proper outlet for actually making those transactions, and Vantage Points giving them the insight and the edge so that they can properly time those decisions, because it's all about timing. The difference between someone who makes money and someone who doesn't make money, or someone who makes a lot of money or someone who makes a little bit of money, it's all about timing. When did you get
Sure
in?
is.
When did you get out? If you don't have that timing dialed in, you're going to be a very frustrated person. But if you can dial in the timing, and that's exactly what we've been doing for over 30 years, it makes it fun, it makes it enjoyable, and you feel great because when you do make a decision, you know that with 86% accuracy, chances are you're going to make money, and that, of course, making money is why we're doing all this.
Well, and it's talk about timing. Here, folks, you want to hear about some timing? The same when Lane and I met, I actually met him personally for the first time while he was shooting a show with Kevin Harrington, his new business icon show that's on Fox Business Channel. That's where it's being broadcast. And I met him and I said, "Whoa, boy, is this good timing?" I literally said, Lane, I got to get up to your headquarters like yesterday. And the upshot of all that is we agreed to put together, which is effectively an exclusive for Digital Frontier Marketing, which is a package that we do that's just crypto only. And I tell you what, we've got a crypto only predictor package, and you know, Lane, I can't thank you enough for even considering putting that together. But I mean, we have a lot of people in our system, so
Yeah, well, we've never done something like that before, but when you and I started talking, and I really liked everything that you're doing with your group, and then I know what our software can do and the power that it has. I thought, you know what, this is going to be just a great marriage and a great partnership, and we love helping people. We love seeing people become successful and the testimonials that pour in, and so it's. I know you've had a lot of people have already started to jump on the bandwagon with
oh
this
yeah, oh
exclusive
yeah.
offer, and it's really been great.
Well, let me just tell you how good. I'm not going to tell you the exact numbers, but this is by percentage what Lane did for us. If you were to go direct to Vantage Point, the package he assembled would essentially be almost, let me do my math quick, almost 80%. He's effectively given us an 80% discount, and on top of that, I'm providing for 50 people, we're almost done, 10,000 cloud coins because I want a group of 50 VIPs that are learning and using this because we want to launch this all over the country and we want specific people to be testimonial folks, to be folks that, and we're already, Lane, I've been sending you some of the success stories already.
hmm Yeah, it's
Holy,
been amazing.
you should have seen the one today. I haven't had a chance to send you the one today, but it was really, really something. I mean, so Lane, I'm going to tell people how to get in touch with me
Okay.
to become part of the VIP group. Folks, just email me at bob@digitalcurrencygrowth.com, bob@digitalcurrencygrowth.com, and I'll send you the special instructions on how you could be part of that because I need you to email me directly because I want to make sure you get your 10,000 cloud coins, which is essentially, well, I'm not going to spoil the news, but you will be shocked at the program that we put together. It's an entire year of access to this data. It's unbelievable. And you don't have to be trading, 10, 15, $20,000 worth of currency to make a huge benefit from this. I mean, you as you can see with currencies, they go up and down big numbers. So you don't have to be trading a huge number to really grow. Would that be have you found that to be true,
Yeah,
Lane?
absolutely. I think that the smaller traders, the people who have smaller amounts of money, they need something like this even more. If you've got a ton of money, hey, if you make some silly mistakes, you don't know what you're doing, you lose some money, who cares? You got plenty more. But if you're working with a smaller amount of money, you got to make every single trade, every single decision. It's really got to count, and you got to be right. And so, yeah, this really stacks the odds in your favor, and that's what you're doing by giving people the cloud coins. I mean, I've got some myself already that I've accumulated.
That's
That's
right.
that's a tremendous offer.
That's a good buy. Well, listen, Lane, I want to thank you for attending. At the end of this event, I'm going to give the information on how you can get in part of Lane's VIP group. This is a exclusive deal. He's given us a crazy benefit to get involved, and I want to thank you so much for attending our briefing tonight, Lane.
Hey, thank you, Bob, and thanks everybody. And I look forward to hearing about all your success stories.
You bet. Thank you much.